Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen adjusted the collar of her formal United Earth Navy uniform as the massive crystalline doors slid open before her. The entrance to the Galactic Council chamber loomed ahead, intimidating by design. Maya steadied her breathing despite the crushing gravity settings, calibrated for the comfort of the majority species and decidedly uncomfortable for humans. A wave of whispers swept through the chamber as she entered. 2,000 representatives from across the galaxy turned as one, their expressions ranging from academic curiosity to poorly concealed revulsion. Several delegates nearest the entrance path activated personal force fields as she passed. Primitive, she heard one insectoid diplomat chittering to its companion. Look at how it relies on mechanical transport. No biological adaptations for space. Maya maintained her diplomatic smile. Earth's xenopsychologists had prepared her thoroughly for the reception she would receive. Humanity was the newcomer here, barely a century into faster-than-light travel, while most council species measured their interstellar histories in millennia. The council chairbeing, a 12-foot-tall avian with iridescent plumage that shimmered under the chamber's artificial sunlight, tapped a ceremonial staff against the dais. Silence fell immediately. The Council recognizes Earth's petition for associate membership status, the chairbeing announced, its translator broadcasting in standardized Galactic Common. The human representative may approach the speaking platform. Maya walked confidently to the center of the chamber, her steps measured and dignified despite the increased gravity. The massive curved walls displayed representatives from nearly 300 spacefaring civilizations. Some appeared humanoid, others utterly alien, crystalline structures, floating gas columns, and everything in between. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, Maya began, her voice clear and steady. I bring greetings from Earth and the United Solar Colonies. The chairbeing's head tilted with something approaching reluctance. The Council acknowledges the human petition. However, before proceedings continue, it is protocol to inform the Assembly of relevant classification data. The avian's wings fluttered slightly as it consulted a holographic display. The human's homeworld has been classified by Council scouts as a Class 12 death world. Gasps echoed through the chamber, followed by a rush of concerned murmurs. Several delegates from the aquatic sections visibly recoiled, their tank water clouding with stress hormones. For context, the chairbeing continued. Class 12 designations are reserved for planets featuring extreme temperature variations, high gravity, toxic atmospheric elements, significant tectonic instabilities, dangerous radiation levels, and most concerning, evolutionary development alongside multiple apex predator species. Maya suppressed a smile as she noticed various counselors shifting uncomfortably in their environmental suits. She caught snippets of whispered conversations rippling through the assembly. They sleep unprotected. I heard they keep predators in their dwellings. Impossible, they must have advanced genetic modifications. Their ocular organs have exposed fluid sacs. How have they survived? The senior xenobiologist, a gelatinous being suspended in a hovering support field, moved forward. Our studies indicate humans evolved as persistence predators themselves, with unusual thermal regulation systems that allow sustained physical activity. Most concerning, they appear to have domesticated multiple predator species on their homeworld for companionship rather than utility. This revelation caused another wave of disquiet to sweep the chamber. A reptilian delegate from the outer rim rose on its hind legs. Point of security concern, it hissed. Does the human delegate currently maintain symbiotic relationships with predator species? The safety protocols of this station must be considered. Maya stepped forward. I assure the distinguished council that I have come alone. Though I must admit, I do miss my cat. Meanwhile, 17 decks below in the station's high-security containment sector, a massive creature stirred within its reinforced chamber. The Vreknar, a six-limbed predator with obsidian scales that absorbed light rather than reflected it, sensed something new had arrived on the station. Its nostrils flared, sampling unfamiliar pheromones filtering through the ventilation system. The neural restraints embedded along its spine itched uncomfortably as the creature tested the boundaries of its prison once more. Unlike previous captives of its species, this Vreknar had survived 3 transport ships and killed 17 handlers. Station security had classified it as the most dangerous specimen ever contained within Council space. The creature's 6 eyes narrowed as it detected a scent unlike any it had encountered before, something evolved from a world of predators and prey. Something dangerous. Something interesting. The Vreknar's massive claws scraped lightly against the containment field as the implants in its brain pulsed with increasing intensity. In the monitor room, a technician noted the anomalous readings but dismissed them. After all, the containment systems were rated to hold creatures twice as powerful. No one had ever escaped from maximum security containment. It was impossible. Maya stood at the speaking platform, displaying holographic images of Earth's biosphere diversity as part of her presentation. The council representatives watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as scenes of human settlements adjacent to wilderness preserves rotated above the dais. As you can see, humanity has developed sustainable coexistence protocols with the predator species of our world, Maya explained. These preservation initiatives have restored ecological balance to regions previously damaged by. Emergency klaxons suddenly blared throughout the chamber, cutting her off mid-sentence. The massive view screens lining the walls automatically switched to security feeds, showing scenes of destruction spreading through the lower levels. Warning messages flashed in multiple languages. Security breach in Containment Sector 7, announced the station's central computer. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat, evacuate immediately. The screens displayed a nightmare scenario unfolding. A massive black shape tearing through reinforced bulkheads, security personnel firing futilely as they retreated. The Vreknar had escaped. Evacuation protocol initiated, the computer continued, its synthetic voice remaining calm while panic spread through the chamber. All delegates proceed to emergency shuttles. Threat classification, Omega. The council erupted into chaos. Delegates stampeded toward the exits, tentacles, wings, and appendages tangling in their desperation to escape. Several smaller species were trampled underfoot. The Cherbing's attempts to maintain order went unheeded as primal fear overrode diplomatic decorum. Maya alone remained calm, her gaze fixed on the security feed with professional interest. While others saw only a rampaging monster, her trained eye noticed something different about the Vreknar's movements. Its gait showed signs of disorientation and pain rather than focused hunting behavior. The creature wasn't pursuing prey. It was fleeing something. Lieutenant Commander called a council security officer, a 4-armed humanoid in powered armor. You must evacuate immediately. The containment failure is catastrophic. Mina shook her head. That creature isn't hunting. Look at its movement patterns. It's in distress. The security feed suddenly cut out as emergency power rerouted to critical systems. Moments later, the chamber's reinforced doors buckled inward with a screech of protesting metal. Claws the size of combat knives tore through alloys designed to withstand vacuum as the massive Vreknar forced its way into the council chamber. The remaining delegates froze in terror. The Vreknar crashed through the doorway, its massive head swinging side to side, searching. 6 eyes glowed with bioluminescence in the chamber's emergency lighting. Bone blades extended from its spine, quivering with tension. The creature's obsidian scales absorbed the light, making it appear as a moving void. It tracked the human scent, shrieked the molluscoid counselor, its speech sacs inflating with fear. Their death world pheromones attracted it. The senior xenobiologist's support field retreated to a safe distance. Impossible. We're 17 decks away from containment. No olfactory capability code. The Vreknar's head snapped toward Maya, its nostrils flaring. A growl like distant thunder rumbled from its triple-jawed mouth. Security personnel raised their weapons, training target locks on both the creature and Maya. "Do not move, human," ordered the security chief through the emergency comms. "Particle beams will fire in 3 seconds." 2. "Belay that order," Maya called out, never taking her eyes off the Vreknar. "You'll just agitate it further." As the massive predator advanced into the chamber, Maya noticed something no one else had seen: a control device embedded near the creature's central nerve cluster. The device glowed an angry red, clearly malfunctioning and causing the creature considerable pain. Similar technology had been banned on Earth centuries ago after disastrous results with enhanced wildlife. The Vreknar stalked forward, each step deliberate. It knocked aside the speaking platform with casual strength, sending the heavy structure crashing into the wall. Several delegates whimpered in terror. The Council's supreme arbiter, Telrix, watched through crystalline sensory organs, fascinated despite the danger. Maya made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. Drawing on her extensive training in Earth's expanded wildlife preservation program, she stepped forward to meet the approaching predator. "What is the human doing?" gasped a delegate from behind an overturned gravity seat. "Suicide," muttered another. "Deathworlders have strange customs." Security forces, prepared to incinerate both the human and the beast, ordered Admiral Crafter through the emergency channel. "Maximum dispersal pattern. Fire on thy mark." "Wait," interrupted Zorix, fascination overriding caution. "Observe." The remaining council members watched in horrified disbelief as Maya Chen, representative of Earth, deliberately placed herself in the path of the most dangerous non-sentient organism catalogued in the past 1,000 cycles. The Vreknar towered over her, standing nearly 14 feet tall on its hind limbs, bone blades fully extended. It lowered its massive head until its jaws were mere inches from Maya's face. Maya didn't flinch. Instead, she made direct eye contact with the creature and did something incomprehensible to the watching council members. She smiled. Maya maintained eye contact with the Vreknar, her posture relaxed yet alert. The creature's 6 eyes, arranged in a predator's forward-facing configuration, studied her with an intelligence that belied its classification as non-sentient. Its massive chest expanded with each breath, taking in her scent. "Easy there," Maya said softly, her voice steady and rhythmic. She used the same calming tones that rangers employed with injured metafauna back on Earth. "That device is hurting you, isn't it? The implant's malfunctioning." The chamber had fallen eerily silent except for the Vreknar's rasping breath and the occasional whimper from hiding delegates. Maya could sense the weapons trained on her back, knew that a single wrong move would result in both her and the creature being incinerated by security forces. The Vreknar reared up to its full height, bone blades extending fully from its spine. The motion wasn't aggressive. Maya recognized it as a pain response. The control device embedded near its central nerve cluster pulsed an angry red, sending visible shudders through the creature's powerful frame. "I'm going to help you," she continued in the same measured tones. "That implant is damaged. No wonder you broke containment." Maya slowly extended her right hand, palm down, fingers relaxed, a non-threatening gesture perfected through millennia of human-predator interaction. The collected representatives of 247 civilizations watched, transfixed, as she performed an action their evolutionary instincts screamed against. The Vreknar's head tilted slightly, its primary hunting eyes narrowing while its secondary environmental sensors tracked the movement. A low, complex vocalization rumbled from its chest, neither a growl nor a roar, but something between. Security forces standing by, came Admiral Crafter's tense whisper through the comms, awaiting final authorization to fire. "Denied," responded Zorix, the crystalline supreme arbiter. "Continue observation protocol." With deliberate slowness, Maya began moving laterally, maintaining the same distance from the Vreknar while shifting her position. The massive predator pivoted to track her, its head following her movement. Maya recognized the behavior. It was evaluating her, assessing threat level. Similar behaviors had been documented in Earth's apex predators before contact protocols were established. "I'm going to circle behind you," Maya explained, knowing the creature couldn't understand her words but would respond to her tone and body language. "That control device needs to be deactivated. It's causing neural feedback." The council members, holding their collective breath, let out a unified gasp as Maya began circling around the massive predator. Conventional xenobiological wisdom dictated never approaching a predator species from behind. It triggered either defensive aggression or prey pursuit responses. The Vreknar tensed as Maya disappeared from its forward field of vision. Its primary hunting eyes could no longer track her, but its secondary environmental sensors still detected her presence. A warning growl vibrated through the chamber. "She's insane," whispered a delegate. "Even our most advanced behavioral specialists wouldn't attempt this." Maya continued her careful approach, speaking in the same soothing rhythm. "I know you can still sense me. I'm not a threat. I'm going to help with the pain." The Vreknar's massive head swung around, faster than seemed possible for a creature its size. Its jaws, capable of exerting enough pressure to crush starship hull plating, stopped mere centimeters from Maya's face. Saliva dripped from triple rows of serrated teeth evolved to shear through armor plating. The chamber collectively held its breath. Security forces tightened their grips on weapon controls. Then, incredibly, the Vreknar lowered its massive head. The motion was tentative, almost questioning. Maya recognized the universal signal, a predator displaying cautious acceptance. With practiced confidence, Maya reached for the neural pressure point at the base of the Vreknar's skull, a spot remarkably similar to Earth's largest predators. Her fingers found the slight depression where bundled nerve clusters came together, and she applied gentle pressure while stroking in a circular pattern. The effect was immediate and astonishing. The Vreknar shuddered, emitting a sound between a growl and a purr that reverberated through the chamber. Its massive body gradually relaxed, bone blades retracting partially into protective sheaths along its spine. The creature's eyes half-closed as tension visibly drained from its powerful frame. "Impossible," breathed the senior xenobiologist, its gelatinous form quivering with excitement. The creature's neurochemical readings are shifting toward non-aggressive states. Maya continued the gentle stroking motion, her experienced fingers working around the control device without disturbing it directly. The Vreknar gradually sank to the floor, its massive head coming to rest on its forward limbs. The red glow from the malfunctioning implant pulsed less frantically. "Someone get me a medical kit and neural disruptor," Maya called out, never taking her eyes off the now docile apex predator. "This control device is causing severe pain. It was designed for a much smaller species and recalibrated improperly." A brave medical technician approached cautiously with the requested equipment, unable to believe what they were witnessing. Throughout recorded council history, no being had ever managed to pacify a Vreknar without heavy sedation or neural suppressors. "Thank you," Maya said, accepting the kit. She looked up at the astonished council members emerging from hiding places. "Could someone please tell me why this magnificent creature has illegal control implants?" These were banned under Galactic Accords Section 27 for causing neurological damage and unpredictable aggression. The implications hung in the air as Maya turned back to the Vreknar, her gentle touch continuing to calm the creature that had, minutes earlier, been considered the station's most dangerous security threat. History was being rewritten with a simple human touch. The medical bay had never been so crowded. Delegates from every major council faction crowded the observation deck, their environmental suits creating a kaleidoscope of colors as they jostled for better viewing positions. Below, separated by transparent quarantine barriers, Maya worked methodically on the sedated Vreknar. "Extraordinary," murmured Chief Xenobiologist Tilara, her compound eyes rapidly capturing and processing data. The human touches the creature without protective equipment. Holographic displays projected Maya's careful work in magnified detail, her steady hands using modified surgical tools to access the control device embedded near the Vrecnar's central nerve cluster. The creature's massive chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm, monitored by equipment hastily calibrated for its unique physiology. These aren't standard restraints, Maya explained to Sorix and the Security Council watching from behind the barrier. Someone has modified this Vrecnar with illegal neural implants designed to enhance aggression and override natural behaviors. She pointed out evidence of surgical scars barely visible beneath the creature's obsidian scales. See these incision patterns? Precision work, but rushed, and these genetic markers show signs of tampering. Impossible, declared Admiral Crafter, mandibles clicking with agitation. The beast destroyed 3 transport ships and killed 17 handlers. Its natural aggression is well documented. Mina shook her head. With respect, Admiral, you're misinterpreting cause and effect. These implants create artificial pain responses triggered by specific pheromones, including those emitted by your security forces. The Vrecnar wasn't hunting, it was defending itself from perceived attacks. The final component of the control device came free with a soft click. Maya placed it carefully in a containment field, where it pulsed angrily before powering down. Monitoring equipment immediately registered changes in the Vrecnar's neural patterns. Remarkable, whispered a council medical officer. Brain activity is shifting toward higher cognitive function regions. Maya checked the creature's vital signs, noting with satisfaction that they were stabilizing. I estimate it will regain consciousness within 30 minutes. I recommend removing all security personnel emitting stress pheromones before then. You cannot be serious, sputtered Security Chief Faraz. You expect us to leave you alone with an apex predator. It has a name, Maya replied calmly, surprising the observers. According to the identification gene tag, this specimen is designated VK7729, captured from the Shadowed Reaches 3 cycles ago. As the security team reluctantly withdrew, the Vrecnar began showing signs of awakening earlier than predicted. Its 6 eyes opened gradually, focusing first on the ceiling, then sweeping the room until they found Maya. The massive creature raised its head, observing her with unexpected clarity. Rather than attacking, the Vrecnar remained perfectly still, watching Maya with what even the most skeptical observers had to admit looked remarkably like intelligence. It made a low rumbling sound when a technician approached too quickly, but otherwise remained calm. Unprecedented, declared Chief Xenobiologist Tulara, her exoskeleton vibrating with scientific excitement. The Vrecnar species is classified as the most aggressive predator cataloged in the past 1,000 cycles. They cannot be tamed or controlled without technology. Maya smiled, continuing to monitor the creature's vitals. Not tamed, respected. There's a fundamental difference our xenobiology teams need to discuss. She turned toward the observation deck. Humans evolved alongside predators on Earth. We learned to read their body language, to understand their needs. We domesticated wolves over 20,000 years ago, turning apex predators into companions. The concept of pets required 3 hours of additional explanation as the council scientists struggled to comprehend a species that would voluntarily share living space with predators. Maya displayed historical images from Earth, humans bottle-feeding orphaned tiger cubs, rehabilitating injured bears, training service animals. Most spacefaring species evolve either avoiding predators entirely or eliminating them from their environments, Maya explained. Humans took a different approach. We studied them, respected them, and eventually partnered with them. Meanwhile, Maya's medical scans revealed something extraordinary. With the control implants removed, the Vrecnar's brain structure showed complex neural pathways previously masked by the suppression technology. This creature might be near sentient, she announced, showing comparative brain scans. These neural formations are consistent with higher cognitive functions, problem solving, social bonding, even rudimentary symbolic thinking. The Vrecnar, now watching the proceedings with obvious interest, made a series of complex vocalizations. Maya recorded the sounds, noting patterns that suggested deliberate communication attempts. I believe with proper study and respect for its natural behaviors, we might establish basic communication protocols, she suggested. Similar techniques have worked with Earth's cetaceans and great apes. Council Representative Jorak scoffed audibly. You propose treating a killing machine as an intelligence. Next, you'll suggest giving it voting rights. The Vreknar's head swiveled toward the dismissive voice, eyes narrowing. Then, to the astonishment of all observers, it deliberately turned away from the speaker, a gesture Maya recognized immediately. Did you see that? She asked excitedly. It understood the emotional content of your statement and responded with deliberate dismissal. That's complex social behavior. As if to emphasize her point, the Vreknar shifted position, moving closer to Maya while maintaining a respectful distance, exactly the behavior pattern Earth's rehabilitated predators displayed toward trusted handlers. I'm going to call you Midnight, Maya said to the creature, making a simple hand gesture as she spoke the name. The Vreknar tilted its head, focusing intently on the movement. This changes everything we thought we knew about predator species classification, whispered Sorix to the assembled council representatives. If the human is correct, we may have been misinterpreting behaviors across dozens of species. Maya smiled as Midnight responded to his new name with a rumbling sound that, to human ears, sounded remarkably like acceptance. Maya's presentation to the full Galactic Council began with historical footage from Earth that left the assembled representatives speechless. The holographic display showed humans throughout history interacting with predators. Ancient cave paintings depicting hunters working alongside wolves, Egyptian hieroglyphs showing domesticated cats, medieval falconers, and modern wildlife rehabilitators hand-raising orphaned lion cubs. What you're witnessing isn't technological superiority, Maya explained as the images cycled through. It's the result of evolutionary partnership. Humans didn't survive Earth's predators by eliminating them or hiding from them. We studied them, respected them, and eventually partnered with them. The massive council chamber remained unnaturally quiet as Maya continued her presentation. Midnight lay calmly at the edge of the speaking platform, his massive form causing occasional nervous murmurs when he shifted position. Most spacefaring species evolved through one of two paths, Maya continued, gesturing to a comparative evolutionary chart. Either complete predator avoidance through specialized adaptations or systematic elimination of predator species from your environments. Humanity took a third path, coexistence. Research data compiled by council xenobiologists scrolled across the displays, highlighting unique aspects of human neurology that had previously been misclassified as evolutionary anomalies. Humans possess unusually developed mirror neurons and threat assessment capabilities, Maya explained. Having evolved on what you classify as a death world, created a species capable of forming bonds across biological divisions that most civilizations consider absolute. Representative Vishika, a methane breather from the outer rim, raised a sensory appendage. This explains the disturbing human practice of pets you described earlier. You deliberately maintain predators in your living spaces. Maya smiled. We maintain relationships with them. Some predator species co-evolved with us over thousands of generations, developing mutual benefits. Others we study and protect to maintain ecological balance. She displayed footage of Earth's wildlife preserves, humans monitoring wolf packs, swimming with sharks, rehabilitating injured bears, and training service animals. The council representatives watched in stunned silence. Your instinct tells you to fear what you see, Maya acknowledged. That's a valid evolutionary response, but humanity's survival advantage came from moving beyond that initial fear response to understanding. We learned that predators have patterns, needs, and social structures we could comprehend. Midnight, as if on cue, rose from his resting position and moved toward Maya. Several security officers tensed, weapons ready, but the Vreknar simply positioned himself beside her in what unmistakably appeared to be a protective stance. Case in point, Maya said, gesturing to Midnight. With the control implants removed, his natural behaviors emerge. Vreknars aren't mindless killers. They are apex predators with complex social structures that were misinterpreted as pure aggression. The medical data from Midnight's ongoing recovery appeared on the displays, showing neural development and increasing cognitive functions. After just 3 days without the suppression technology, his brain was showing patterns consistent with higher reasoning. I've developed a basic interface that allows Midnight to express simple concepts, Maya demonstrated, activating a collar-like device that translated the Vreknar's vocalizations into simplified emotional and conceptual indicators. It's primitive compared to your translation technology, but it confirms what we suspected. Vreknars possessed near-sentient intelligence. Midnight vocalized a series of complex sounds, which the interface translated as agreement/confirmation. The council erupted in astonished discussion. Supreme Arbiter Xorix called for order, crystal facets glowing with unusual intensity. If Lieutenant Commander Chen's findings are accurate, Xorix announced, we must reconsider our classification and handling of numerous species previously categorized as dangerous non-sentients. This has profound implications for our containment protocols and ethical guidelines. Maya nodded. I've submitted formal requests to review the cases of 17 species currently scheduled for controlled extinction as unmanageable threats. I believe with proper understanding of their behavior patterns, many can be rehabilitated. Rehabilitated for what purpose? Demanded Admiral Crafter, mandibles clicking with suspicion. For their own sake, Maya answered simply. But there are practical applications as well. Earth has successfully integrated former predator species into conservation work, search and rescue operations, and ecological management. The discussion continued for hours as Maya fielded questions from fascinated and horrified council members. Meanwhile, word of the human predator tamer spread throughout the station. Researchers from dozens of worlds requested permission to observe Maya's techniques. By the cycle's end, Maya had received authorization to establish a pilot rehabilitation program with Midnight as the first subject. She immediately began recruiting specialists from Earth, wildlife rehabilitators, animal behaviorists, and conservation experts, creating an entirely new field of xenobiological diplomacy. The irony isn't lost on me. Maya confided to Xorix as they watched Midnight successfully complete a complex problem-solving exercise. The very planet conditions that made you classify Earth as a death world gave us the skills you now find valuable. Xorix's crystalline form refracted light in what Maya had learned was amusement. Perhaps our classification system requires revision. Your homeworld created challenges that forged unique capabilities the galaxy may need. Midnight vocalized, the interface translating, agreement/anticipation. Maya smiled, stroking the massive predator's scales. I think he's looking forward to meeting more humans. The feeling, Xorix observed, appears to be mutual. 6 months after the incident, Maya's team had expanded to 37 human specialists and rehabilitated 14 previously classified dangerous non-sentients. Their success had garnered both admiration and suspicion throughout Council space. The Xenobiological Rehabilitation Center occupied an entire deck of the station, modified with Earth-standard gravity and atmospheric conditions. Maya reviewed security footage from the intercepted smuggling vessel on her holographic display. The images showed cargo holds filled with sedated predator species, many fitted with the same type of neural implants they'd removed from Midnight. Play it again, she instructed the computer, focusing on a shadowy figure visible for only 3 frames. Enhance Sector 7. The image clarified, revealing a hooded being overseeing the transfer of containment pods. Though the face remained obscured, the uniform bore an unfamiliar insignia, 3 intersecting circles bisected by a jagged line. Cross-reference with known criminal organizations, Maya requested. No matches found, the computer responded. Symbol identified as religious iconography associated with the Sinithar evolutionary purification movement. Maya frowned. Send all data to Admiral Crafter and Supreme Arbiter Zorix with priority flagging. Request immediate consultation. As she finished the transmission, a low rumbling sound drew her attention. Midnight approached, his massive frame moving with surprising grace for a creature his size. The communication interface around his neck glowed with activity as he vocalized. Concern/question, the translator displayed. Just reviewing some troubling data, Maya explained, stroking the ridge above Midnight's primary eyes, a spot she discovered he particularly enjoyed. The neural implants we found in you match those from a smuggling operation. Midnight's 6 eyes focused on the display, studied it with obvious intelligence, then he vocalized again. Recognition/warning. Maya straightened immediately. Computer, activate full translation protocol and record. Over the next hour, Midnight communicated a disturbing reality through the increasingly sophisticated interface. The Vreknar and other apex species have been systematically captured from their territories by a group he identified as the Shadow Ones. Through a combination of vocalization, gesture, and the interface's translation, Midnight revealed crucial intelligence. The predator species were being weaponized for an upcoming conflict. The Sinithar believe that predator species represent evolutionary regression, explained Admiral Crafter when he arrived at Maya's urgent summons. Their philosophy centers on the concept that truly advanced civilizations should have eliminated such threats millennia ago. They see humanity's ability to form partnerships with predator species as ideologically threatening, added Zorix, crystal facets pulsing with concern. Our intelligence networks have intercepted communications declaring humans evolutionarily deviant. Maya's expression hardened. They've declared war on us for rehabilitating predators. Not officially, Crafter clarified, but 3 human outposts in the Cygnus sector reported attacks last cycle. The pattern matches Sinithar infiltration tactics. Maya turned to Midnight, who had been listening intently. Did they take others from your world? Midnight vocalized a complex series of sounds, the interface translating. Affirmation/pain/many. He's trying to tell us something more specific, Maya realized. She adjusted the interface settings to allow for spatial representation. Show us, Midnight. The Vreknar used his foreclaw to trace patterns on the holographic display, a star system with 7 planets, focusing on the 4th world. The computer analyzed his movements. Spatial coordinates identified, announced the computer. Matching to Sector 19 Aleph, system designation the Shadowed Reaches. 4th planet is cataloged as uninhabitable due to extreme predator biodiversity. That's a cover story, Maya realized. It's his homeworld, and likely where the Sinithar are building their forces. Within days, Maya had established a specialized response team, combining human experts with rehabilitated predator species. The Council, though divided on the approach, authorized their first mission, to rescue captured scientists from a research outpost near the Shadowed Reaches. The operation revealed something unprecedented. Maya's team, working with 12 rehabilitated predator species, including Midnight, demonstrated coordination that the Sinithar forces couldn't counter. Security footage of Maya riding on Midnight's back while directing a flanking maneuver spread throughout galactic information networks, inspiring both awe and terror. The Deathworlder rides the apex predator into battle became a whispered phrase throughout council space, some speaking it with admiration, others with horror. The rescued scientists provided confirmation of Maya's worst fears. The Sinithar Dominion had declared humanity's predator partnerships an abomination against evolutionary progress. Their facilities contained thousands of captured predator species being modified with control implants for military purposes. They don't understand what they're doing, Maya explained to the Council's Security Committee. These implants don't just control the creatures, they damage them, creating artificial aggression that ultimately destroys higher brain functions. Midnight, now with an enhanced communication interface, added his testimony. Through increasingly sophisticated translation technology, he revealed the location of his species' home world, a planet the Dominion had stripped of resources after capturing its predator population for experimentation. My kind/protector/balance. Midnight's interface translated as he explained his species' role in their ecosystem. Sinithar/destroy/harmony. The implications became clear. The Vreknar hadn't evolved as mindless killers, but as apex predators maintaining ecological balance. The Sinithar's philosophy of eliminating all predators had resulted in devastating ecological collapse across dozens of worlds they'd purified. This isn't just about human evolutionary theory anymore, Maya told the assembled council representatives. The Sinithar's approach threatens galactic biodiversity. They're creating the very monsters they claim to be protecting against. As she finished speaking, emergency alerts flashed across the chamber's displays. 3 more human outposts had come under attack, and this time, the Sinithar forces had deployed neurologically controlled predator species as shock troops. Maya exchanged a glance with Midnight, whose eyes narrowed in determination. Help/fight/protect, his interface displayed. Looks like our rehabilitation program just became a resistance movement, Maya said grimly. The emergency session of the Galactic Council stretched into its 3rd day. The massive chamber had split into clearly defined factions, physically and ideologically. Progressive representatives, led by Supreme Arbiter Xorix, occupied the eastern section. Conservative delegates, mostly from historically prey species, filled the western half. The evidence cannot be dismissed. Xorix's crystalline form projected his voice across the chamber. Lieutenant Commander Chen's rehabilitation program has demonstrated remarkable success. 17 previously classified dangerous species now show clear signs of intelligence and cooperation. Cooperation under what conditions? Countered Representative Vishka. Methane clouds pulsing with agitation. Controlled environments with human handlers. What happens when these rehabilitated predators encounter our civilian populations? Maya stood at the central podium, Midnight a calm presence beside her. The Vreknar had become the living symbol of her program's success and the focus of the opposition's fears. With respect, Representative, Maya responded, "You're still viewing predator species through an outdated evolutionary lens. Midnight and others like him don't require control. They form social bonds based on mutual respect." Admiral Crabtre's mandibles clicked with impatience. Philosophy aside, we face immediate security concerns. The Sinithar Dominion has attacked 7 human outposts and 3 council research stations. Their forces deploy neurologically controlled predator species as weapons. We must respond decisively. The Admiral's tactical display showed the spread of Sinithar influence across the sector. Dozens of worlds where predator populations had been systematically captured or exterminated. The Dominion's philosophy is clear, Maya explained. They believe that civilization can only advance by eliminating the evolutionary regression that predator species represent. Humanity's ability to partner with these species threatens their entire worldview. Maya's proposal hung in the air between the divided council. Authorization for her human predator teams to counter Sinithar attacks and rescue captured creatures. Conservative representatives recoiled at the concept of deliberately deploying predator species, while progressives argued for embracing new tactics. Representative Jorak rose from the conservative section. "This human would have us overturn 10,000 cycles of evolutionary progress. Our ancestors fled from creatures like these." He gestured toward Midnight. "Now we're asked to welcome them into our civilized spaces." Midnight vocalized, his enhanced interface translating. Misunderstanding/symbiosis/balance. "Even if we accept the human's theories," continued Jorak, "deploying these creatures as a military force crosses ethical boundaries. We would be no better than the Sinithar." The chamber's emergency sirens cut him off mid-sentence. Security barriers slammed into place as warning displays flashed across every screen. Perimeter breach in sectors 7 through 15 announced the station's computer. Multiple hostiles detected. Sinithar strike force confirmed. The council erupted in panic. Security feeds showed Sinithar forces moving through the station's outer rings, accompanied by controlled predator species, their movements jerky and unnatural, control devices glowing angry red along their spines. They're targeting the council directly, realized Admiral Crafter. An assassination strike. Conventional defenses activated, reported the security chief. But the controlled predators are absorbing heavy fire without stopping. Their pain responses have been completely overridden. Maya exchanged a glance with Midnight. We can stop them, but we need authorization now. My team is standing by. Supreme Arbiter Xoric's crystal facets pulsed rapidly as he processed information. Emergency authorization granted. Deploy your teams, Lieutenant Commander. Within minutes, Maya's specialized teams moved to intercept the Sinithar forces. The security feeds displayed something the Council had never witnessed. Humans working alongside rehabilitated predator species in perfect coordination. Unlike the Sinithar's controlled creatures, Maya's partners moved with purpose and intelligent restraint. The battle reached the Council chamber's outer security ring. Representatives watched in horrified fascination as the two approaches to predator species clashed directly. The Sinithar's controlled creatures fought through pain and technological compulsion, while Maya's partners demonstrated tactical cooperation. Watch the difference, instructed Xorix as the feeds showed a Sinithar handler using neural pain inducers to force compliance from a massive arthropoid predator. In contrast, Maya's teams communicated through gestures and vocalizations, adapting tactics in real time. The tide turned when Midnight led a pack of rehabilitated Vreknars in a flanking maneuver that cut off the Sinithar forces from their command structure. The controlled predators, without handlers to direct them, became disoriented and vulnerable to precision neutralization. As the security teams contained the final attackers, the Council chamber's main doors buckled inward. The Sinithar commander himself, a being encased in technology designed to project fear pheromones, strode into the chamber. Your evolutionary regression ends here, the commander announced, activating a device that filled the chamber with biochemical compounds designed to trigger primal fear responses. Representatives collapsed in terror as the compounds took effect. Even the security forces found themselves paralyzed by instinctive dread. Only Maya remained standing, her Deathworld adaptations rendering the compounds ineffective. Your mistake, Maya said calmly, was thinking that fear is the strongest evolutionary drive. The commander's expression shifted to confusion as his technology failed against Maya's Deathworld adaptations. Behind him, Midnight and 3 other rehabilitated predators entered the chamber, completely unaffected by the fear compounds. Protection/cooperation/strength. Midnight's interface displayed as he positioned himself beside Maya, facing the increasingly desperate commander. In that moment, even the most conservative council members glimpsed the truth they had denied: the power of partnership across evolutionary divides. Fear might control temporarily, but trust built something far more formidable. Surrender, Maya offered the commander. And I promise you'll be treated better than you treated them. The Grand Council chamber gleamed under ceremonial lighting as representatives from 300 worlds gathered for the historic session. 1 year had passed since the Sinithar attack, and the galaxy had changed profoundly in that time. Maya stood beside Midnight at the central podium, both wearing the insignia of the newly established Interspecies Cooperation Corps. Behind them, a diverse delegation of humans and rehabilitated predator species waited to be formally recognized. Today, we witness the culmination of an evolutionary paradigm shift, announced Supreme Arbiter Xorix, crystal facets glowing with formal intensity. The Council will now vote on Resolution 7729, the Sentient Partnership Act. The chamber's massive displays showed the resolution's core principles: formal recognition of intelligence in previously classified apex predator species, legal protections for rehabilitation programs, and establishment of diplomatic protocols for newly recognized sentient species. Before the final vote, Zorix continued, Lieutenant Commander Chen will present the culmination of her work. Maya stepped forward, surveying the assembled representatives. Many who had once recoiled from her now watched with respectful attention. A year ago, I stood in this chamber as Earth's representative, considered an oddity from a death world, Maya began. Today, I stand before you as living proof that evolution offers many paths to intelligence and cooperation. The displays showed footage from dozens of worlds where Maya's methods have been implemented, ecological restoration projects with rehabilitated predator species, maintaining balance, security operations where human predator teams protected vulnerable settlements, and research breakthroughs in interspecies communication. The Sinithar Dominion believed that eliminating predators was the path to evolutionary perfection. Maya continued. Their philosophy of domination through fear has been thoroughly rejected. Their leaders now await justice for crimes against sentient beings. Footage showed the former Sinithar commander in a rehabilitation facility, working under supervision with smaller predator species, learning the partnerships he had once condemned. We've discovered that 17 previously classified predator species show clear signs of nascent sentience, Maya explained. With the neural suppression technology removed, many are developing communication systems and social structures far more complex than we imagined possible. Midnight stepped forward, his enhanced communication interface glowing. The technology had evolved significantly, allowing for more nuanced translation. The balance requires all evolutionary paths, displayed the interface as Midnight vocalized. Predator and prey create symbiotic harmony when respected. Many council members still found it disconcerting to receive philosophical concepts from a creature they had once considered mindless, but none could deny the evidence before them. The data is conclusive, added Chief Xenobiologist Tlara, her exoskeleton gleaming with formal pigmentation. Worlds where we've implemented the Chen protocol show dramatic improvements in biodiversity and stability. Restored predator-prey relationships create healthier ecosystems than artificial management ever achieved. The Galactic classification system displayed on the screens showing Earth's redesignation from Death World to Crucible World, a rare planet whose challenging conditions forged a species with unique adaptive advantages. Humanity's great contribution wasn't technological, Maya explained. It was perspective. We showed that empathy and understanding can bridge evolutionary divides once thought absolute. The final vote proceeded, passing with a substantial majority. As the result appeared on the chamber's displays, formal recognition protocols activated. Midnight officially became the first non-human member of Earth's diplomatic corps, the legal designation of dangerous non-sentient permanently removed from his species. This is only the beginning, Maya told the assembled council. The Interspecies Cooperation Institute on New Shadow will train representatives from all member worlds in partnership techniques. The restored section of Midnight's homeworld had become the center for a revolutionary approach to species rehabilitation. There, humans worked alongside former apex predators to rebuild ecosystems destroyed by the Sinithar's purification campaigns. Many council species still found it unnerving to watch humans casually interacting with creatures their ancestors had fled from for millions of years. Yet the results proved undeniable. 17 worlds previously deemed ecologically collapsed now showed signs of recovery under the guidance of human-predator partnerships. Evolutionary theorists developed new models incorporating humanity's empathic predator bonding as an alternative survival strategy, what humans called diplomatic predation rather than apex predation. Preliminary research suggested that several other species might have followed similar evolutionary paths before artificial suppression. As the ceremony concluded, Maya and Midnight stepped onto the central platform together. The station's holographic systems displayed the now famous image from that first historic encounter, a human confidently stroking an apex predator while the Galactic Council watched in disbelief. That moment changed everything, observed Admiral Crafter, mandibles clicking with what Maya now recognized as thoughtful contemplation. One touch bridged evolutionary divides we thought insurmountable. Midnight's communication interface translated his response. The human saw beyond fear to potential. All evolution requires such vision. The image became the emblem of the Institute, displayed on spacecraft and facilities throughout Council space. For some, it represented a frightening departure from evolutionary orthodoxy. For others, it symbolized hope that understanding could overcome even the most fundamental biological divisions. As Maya prepared to depart for New Shadowall with Midnight and the delegation, Sorix approached for a final conversation. "You've changed the galaxy's understanding of intelligence itself," the Supreme Arbiter observed. "What comes next?" Maya smiled, stroking Midnight's scales in the gesture that had started everything. "We keep exploring, keep learning, together. Evolution isn't finished with any of us yet." Agreement/anticipation, Midnight's interface displayed. The stars await all paths.